Okay, good morning. Doug, that was a real nice speech that you presented. You provided a whole lot of good information about the Spanish flu, uh, in a well-organized manner about how it started and how it progressed and the toll that it took on the world society at the time, 100 years ago. Um, you asked me to look specifically about how fast you went throughout the speech, and I think your voice tempo was good. I think there were probably a couple of spots where you could have paused just to allow us to absorb some of the information that you were presenting. So, especially the death toll, generally when we talk about death, there's always some thought of a moment of silence for those who have passed, and that would have been a good time to take a pause so we can just absorb as to how great of a pandemic that the Spanish flu was. But overall, I think there was a good information for to explain the history of the Spanish flu in a well-organized manner. A couple of things that I think that you can do to improve this speech generally, and then one or two things that are one thing specifically about speaking in a Zoom type webinar type atmosphere. I think you could have, I would have liked to have heard more of how the flu progressed throughout the world. So if we compare it to COVID-19, we know it started in China, and then it expanded throughout the world through people either leaving China and going to Europe. And then those people in Europe, we're now learning that those people moved back to the United States and how it spread throughout the world that way through travel. And then I think that would have been nice to maybe explain some of the similarities and differences between the Spanish flu and COVID-19, since we're all experiencing this new pandemic and the effect that it's having on our lives today. And then lastly, I think just for Zoom meetings and WebEx meetings, I think the angle of your camera was a little difficult, because the way I saw it, because you were looking down, it looked a lot throughout the speech that your eyes were closed. And so I think by adjusting the camera up a little bit higher so that you're looking maybe more eye level or closer to eye level as opposed to looking down, then it doesn't appear as though your eyes are closed. Overall, it was a real good speech with a lot of good information, and thank you for being one of the first volunteers to do this.
Thank you very much. Good information.